Hi folks, HR Funk here, finally back with you again on this beautiful Ohio October day to bring you a brand new video, and today's subject is the Marlin 1894 SS chambered for 44 Magnum. As the name implies, this basic design has been around now for 120 years. Based on just that, it's easy to say that it's one of the most successful lever-action rifles ever devised. In its current form, it's in stainless steel, as you can plainly see, which means you get not only all the benefits of a fast-handling 44 Magnum chambered carbine, but also all the rust and corrosion resistance of stainless steel. Let's take a little bit closer look at the 1894 and see a few of the other features that you get with this particular rifle. Before I go on, I have to say that I've had this rifle for about 10 years. This is 2015, October of 2015 as I make this. This rifle did come from the Marlin factory in New Haven, Connecticut. It's not one of the newer rifles that's being manufactured by Remington. I got a little bit of grief when I put up the video a while back with my Model 39A. Someone thought that was one of the newer ones, and I just want to stress, hopefully save a little bit of unhappy messaging from the folks that might view this, and just reassure you this was made by the old Marlin company. Looking closer, first at the stock, we see we've got the pressed in checkering, which I think looks good. It's relatively functional. This is one of the newer model 1894s that does have the crossbolt safety. This is one of those things, I mentioned this in a previous video, that some people get really upset about. I tend to just ignore it. It doesn't really bother me much one way or the other. It doesn't hinder the functioning of the rifle at all, and I just tend to go on and use the rifle and not think about it. As you can see, this also has the straight stock and the straight lever, which again is fine with me. The sights are the standard Marlin buckhorn sights with the covered front sight. We'll do a little bit of shooting here in a few minutes, and we'll get an idea of what kind of accuracy you can expect with this setup as it comes from the factory. Now also, this rifle is drilled and tapped in the top of the receiver, so if you want to add a scope to it, you can. I tend not to put scopes on my lever action rifles because I prefer the balance and the handling characteristics without a scope. I suppose you could also these days put some sort of a red dot on there, but something about that just seems almost sacrilegious with a lever action carbine. One thing I should probably mention before I start shooting is the ballistic advantage you get with using the 44 Magnum cartridge in a carbine length barrel. The particular load that I'm using launches a 240 grain Hornady XTP bullet at about 1,350 feet per second out of a 6-inch revolver. Out of the carbine length barrel, it picks up about 250 to 300 feet per second. So out of this barrel, it's going to be traveling about 1,600 feet per second. I have killed a lot of deer with the 44 Magnum cartridge out of a handgun. With the energy that you get from the 44 Magnum cartridge, it has always impressed me with how quickly it brings down a deer. Adding the additional energy from the carbine length barrel is going to make it even that much more effective on game of that size. Okay, we're all set up here at 50 yards to start doing a little bit of shooting, and we'll see just exactly what the 1894 SS is capable of. Okay, let's go take a look and see how we did. Okay, other than the fact that I need to move the sight over to the left to bring my shot group into the center, not too shabby from 50 yards. I think I'll give it a sight adjustment and try it one more time just to see what that looks like when it's in the part of the target where it's supposed to be. One downside to these buckhorn sights is when it comes to making an adjustment, which is what I just did. The first time I tapped over just a little bit too far, and it took it off the left side of the target just about as far as it was over to the right when I fired that first 5-shot group. So I had to bring it back. I think I got it in a pretty good place right now. I'm going to try 3 more shots and we'll see how they look on the target. Okay, let's go take a look at this one. Okay, well, we're getting there. This is the shot that I fired after my first sight adjustment. So I brought the sight back. This was the one that I fired before I started the tape to record again. And then these are the three that I fired just now. Looks like I'm still going to need to give it a little bit more back to the left. I'm going to give that a try, get this centered up, then maybe we'll do something else. Okay, after a little bit of judicious tapping, I got things centered up pretty well. These are the last three that I shot right here. And I think I'm going to call that good. So let's do a little bit of shooting on something that's a little bit more fun than just a paper target. Okay, so much for paper targets. Let's try a little bit of shooting on some reactive targets and get an idea of how the energy added by this carbine length barrel improves the performance of the 44 Magnum. In this case, we're going to be using it on a fluid medium, specifically water-filled jugs. Let's take a look and see how this goes. This should be fun. That was so much fun, I'm going to do it again. Two up, two down. Let's see how that looked on the closer camera. There you have it, folks. All the power of the 44 Magnum and then some. On the big jug, we got the entrance hole right here. This is the result of the hydraulic pressure from the bullet passing through, and you can see the exit hole right there where it came back out. Same thing on the smaller one. Got the entrance here, and it's coming out back here. Both of them don't have any water left inside. It's always fun to shoot reactive targets. Well, there you go, folks. Hope you enjoyed the video on the 1894 SS. I can't say enough good things about this little carbine. One thing I didn't say before is you can also shoot 44 specials out of this particular rifle. They'll work just fine. If you happen to want to use a little bit less power, that works great for anything small. If you have some kind of pest in your backyard, even a two-legged pest, if it wanders into your house, 44 Special works great for that. Or if you want to load it up with the Magnums, you can use it for anything. Deer or black bear size game is what Marlin rates this for. I would say it's absolutely adequate for that. You do have to use it at a reasonable range. This is not a long-range sniper rifle. Anything inside of about 100 yards is going to get real nervous if you're shooting at it with this. You go much beyond 100 yards, now you're starting to ask a lot, particularly if you're using the standard sighting system that comes from the factory. But anything out to that distance, this makes a great carbine. I think probably if people were honest, most deer in this country every year are taken at 100 yards or less. I know, and I'm going to get the comments on the videos that people are going to tell me about, shooting the deer at 2,000 yards and all that. First off, I'll say they didn't use a carbine chambered for a pistol cartridge. And secondly, they probably didn't use a lever action carbine at all. They used something else. But in any case, these are great little rifles. I can't say anything intelligent about the new ones that are produced by Remington. I just don't know. I haven't had any experience with them. But if you find the ones that were actually made by Marlin, I can say unequivocally they're good firearms and they'll serve you well. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, good shooting. Bye-bye.